What's up, everybody? Jason back again with another episode of Vendors, where I get to sit down with the leading wedding industry professionals and have a casual one-on-one conversation dealing with all the questions that couples like you have planning your wedding day. And even better, dealing with the questions that you don't even know to ask yet. Today I'm sitting down with Kayla Consolo of Deco Adamo, a national bridal beauty agency located here in Chicago, Illinois. Let's get it started. Kayla, thank you so much for letting us come out today and sit down with you.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I am super excited. And we've worked together for years. You are just absolutely amazing at your craft, but you're an amazing person. And I think that is such a huge deal when dealing with vendors. So I am stoked to be here with you today.
Awesome.
So can you tell us who you are and what do you do?
My name is Kayla Consolo. I'm the founder of Deco Adamo. We are a national bridal beauty agency, but our main hub is here in Chicago, my hometown. We specialize in on-site bridal hair and makeup and putting together that whole glam squad red carpet experience for your wedding day.
So you mentioned you were national. What does that entail?
So we actually took a leap of faith this year and have started to expand to other major cities. So we are currently in LA, Phoenix, and Atlanta. So trying to get all of the major hubs in there.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I like that you're like sweeping across the country. So being a national business that you are right now, obviously you didn't just start this business. How long have you been doing this?
So I've been doing hair and makeup for 10 years in the bridal industry, but I actually launched Deco Adamo 5 years ago this May.
Roughly, how many weddings do you think you've worked with?
I would say that we're definitely probably getting close to the thousands in my whole career. But we average around 200 to 250 a year throughout the company.
200 and 250 a year. So
first year in business was only 14 though. So we've come a long way.
That's a long way. That's
yeah.
Huge. You said in the business. Do you have other teams working for you?
Yeah, so we actually have about 35 artists and hairstylists here in our Chicago hub. And then we have about 8 artists and stylists within our other cities so far.
When you're working with these other 34 other people, I'm guessing, like are you the 35th?
Probably, yeah.
Probably.
We just hired like 3 new people this week too.
Understood.
So it's like,
Understood.
I don't even know what the number is. I'm just going based off of our 1099s from last year.
Well, that means you're kicking so much ass right now that you don't have time to focus on that. But so when you're dealing with these new vendors, are you training them yourself?
So I'm very selective on who we choose to represent. So obviously they go through an interview process with me, an audition process with me. If I feel as though they need some additional training, I will do that one-on-one with them. I do train all of our people that work for us, especially our artists, in our airbrushing techniques and in our lash techniques, because those are 2 things that I think really separate us from other beauty professionals.
When a couple is searching out for makeup and hair, how long in advance before the wedding do you think they should come and book with you?
We like to recommend at least 6 months before. We do book out about 12 to 14 months, especially for those busy, June, July, August for some reason is always crazy. Right. So for any of those prime wedding dates, we always recommend looking more around the 12 to 14 month, but usually 6 months is good enough.
So when a couple comes to you, they sit down, they get to know you. What are some good questions couples should ask?
Definitely asking questions that cater to their style that they're going for on their wedding day. Like one of the questions that I ask mostly is, what do you want your wedding to look like? What style are you going for? And especially when it comes to beauty, the more that they can express their individual style, the better I can match them with a team that will be seamless with their day.
So there's a lot more conversation than I think most people think about.
Oh yeah, people think it's just hire, hair, and makeup, but when we have such a broad agency with so many different talents and expertises like throughout it, we want to know what expresses them the most so that I can find the artist and the stylist that would be best for them. Because everyone's so different. Weddings are so customizable nowadays, so I think your beauty should be as well.
Can you talk a little bit about that? That's a really important aspect of this that I had no idea.
So, I feel like Pinterest has been like the death of us, but also a really great aid into helping communicate with our brides. But because of things like Pinterest and Instagram, there are a lot of styles out there that I don't think were even recognized back in the day. When you would just go to even a photographer, it was kind of cut and paste, or a videographer is very cut and paste. So same thing with beauty. There are boho styles, there are glamorous styles, very natural styles. So there are so many different styles that these brides can choose from. So it's really important for us to know what they're looking for so that we can send out somebody who specializes in the exact style that they are hoping to have.
What else is involved leading up to the wedding day?
My team of beauty coordinators, we actually work with them from the date of booking all the way up until the wedding day. We have them fill out a questionnaire that gets us to better know their sense of style. That questionnaire will also include links and photos and anything that they want us to know about their wedding. Basically, the aesthetic of their wedding, we get to know firsthand. We then match them with the artist and stylist whom we feel is the best fit. We coordinate how many services are needed, their time frame that they must be getting ready at, the location they're getting ready at, if there's natural light, if there's not. And then we will schedule trials, so like a bridal preview or a trial. That usually happens a couple months before the wedding day. And after that trial, we come up with the timeline so that there's no waiting around.
Yes.
There's, nobody's getting double booked that day. Every bridesmaid has their slot so that there's no questions and, Linda's out missing somewhere.
Which happens all the time.
All the time. So we just like to keep it really personalized and organized from start to finish.
So you mentioned trials, and this is something I'm sure some people know about, but I never knew until I started showing up on wedding days and hearing bridesmaids and brides say like, oh, remember when we did the trial, we did this. And I was like, what is a trial? So can you talk about what a trial is?
Absolutely. A trial is so necessary, I feel, for a wedding, because most of the times people aren't wearing, full formal hair and makeup every day. So it is something that you are stepping out of your element is. I also think it's very important, since we are a vendor that doesn't really meet with our bride prior to the wedding day. Besides the trial, for you to get to know your artist. We are going to be spending a significant of time with you that morning. It's a stressful but really fun morning, so knowing that you jive well with your artist is super important too. Being on the same page is super important. Making sure that we're trying out a hairstyle and a makeup look that you feel beautiful in and you're confident is going to be replicated on the wedding day.
So a trial, you're saying you're trying things out. How long would a trial last?
So we schedule our trials out for 90 minutes per trial.
Okay.
So for hair and then for makeup.
Oh, so it's like 90 minutes for hair, 90 minutes for makeup?
Yes.
No kidding.
What the trial consists of is one look and one modified look. So they bring in a photo, say they want their hair half up, half down. And the photo that they showed us is just normal, half up, half down. Maybe we'll throw in a braid also so that they could see what it looks like with a braid. Yeah. We want to give them some options to go off of and not feel like they're stuck in one little parameter. Especially since they haven't really worn formal hair and makeup often.
Do people come in and say like, okay, this is obviously what I want to look like. Here's the Pinterest board. Make me look like this. And then they see it and they go, oh no.
All the time.
Really?
All the time. I always recommend to my artist or to my brides that when they are looking through Pinterest and everything, find people who resemble you in a sense of skin tone, eye color, hair texture, because a tousled, messy bun on somebody with blonde hair and highlights and dimension isn't going to look the same on somebody with black hair because it absorbs light. It doesn't show the dimension. So I always say to be better prepared for your trial, make sure that you're looking at photos that resemble you in a sense, because you may not like it on you when you see it on you.
Oh, that's a crazy good point.
Yeah.
I'm growing my beard out because I want to look like Khal Drogo.
Oh, perfect. Oh,
and obviously not happening. So, so when a couple comes to you, they're asking these questions, they book with you.
Yes.
What are some important things a couple should be aware of with a makeup artist's contract?
So we do make our couples sign a contract of agreement with us. What that contract outlines, it's both protecting our company and it's protecting them. It is us committing that we will be there on the wedding day. Even in an event of emergency, we'll make sure that we send someone out. We'll make sure that they're covered. Of course, like acts of God and things like that are involved in there. If anything crazy happens, their deposit will be refunded. Okay. But we do every effort that we can. If there is an emergency, that they are taken care of. It also protects us. As you know, as a wedding vendor, we block out our dates very far in advance, and that is how we put food on the table. That is how our people that work for us put food on the table. So if we've had a date blocked out for a year and they decide to go in another direction a month before, we do want to be protected as well. They are not required to put down any more payment, which I think is fair if no services have been rendered, but their deposit is non-refundable.
You bring up a very good point that there's more involved than just showing up.
I love answering this question because everyone thinks that we just play dress up for a living, but it is a business, it is our way of life, it is our careers. So there are so many things that go in it. Most importantly, any artist that you work with when you're working with Deco Adamo, we're insured. A lot of us have gone through the proper training, proper certifications. Most of our hairstylists are licensed hairstylists. Some of our makeup artists are also licensed estheticians and licensed cosmetologists. Just like if you were going to go to your doctor's office and pay your doctor, you're paying them a premium because of all of the education and back work that they have done to get them to where they are today. So that's exactly what you're paying for with us, is making sure that you have a dependable, professional, experienced, and of course, talented person who is going to show up on your wedding day, ready to go, ready to make your day that much easier. A lot of the backstory that they don't know about what I do is, like I said, I educate and I train everybody on our team. I handle all of our bookings. I handle all of our contracts. I handle all of our scheduling. I do all of our advertising, which we do pay to make sure that you even find us. I do all of our Instagram marketing, our Facebook marketing, our correspondence. My phone is attached to my hip all the time, and it will go off at 7 p.m. on a Sunday, and I'm still going to try my best to get to you and answer your questions. So there is so much more legwork that goes into bridal hair and makeup than just showing up and doing our job. And just to add another thing, it is not cheap. My kit is insured for $10,000. Like, our equipment and our kit is pricey, and making sure that we're up to date on all of the latest, products that come out that our brides want us to use. And we have every skin tone out there and every shade and undertone. It does cost a lot of money. So it's a big investment on our ends to be able to provide the best service.
Wow.
So much. Mind blown. Ooh, and we have to take CEU hours every year.
What's CEU?
So that's continuing education. So even to keep up with our licensing, which still is a fee to pay every year.
Right. Taking into consideration all the work that goes into being a makeup artist, a hairstylist, how much does an average wedding cost for makeup and hair?
So it really depends on how many services you're getting. We at Deco Adamo, I know some other companies process things a little differently. We don't do half-day rates or full-day rates, and we don't go hourly. So we are based off of the service, which it'll depend on if you have 8 people, 4 people, however many people are getting the service. But on average, I would say that our contracts are between $1,500 and $2,500
okay.
for the day.
I mean, taking into consideration everything that goes into that, that's an amazing deal. Now, you said we. How many people come to a wedding?
And that depends as well. I will always send out 1 hairstylist and 1 makeup artist, depending on how many services. We have minimums. So in our Chicago region, our minimums are 4 services per service provider, and then you'll be guaranteed to have 1 hairstylist, 1 makeup artist. Anything above 8, we send 2 hairstylists and 2 makeup artists. I've sent up to 5 hairstylists and 5 makeup artists. That goes for a really big wedding.
So what other ways can it be handled?
So some people will do half-day rates, so that'll be for either 4 to 6 hours of work. Some people will do full-day rates, which are between 8 and 12 hours of work. I prefer not to do that because to protect both the artist and the client.
The makeup artist going with the couple for the day.
Yeah.
Why is that a good thing?
Security and insurance on your look. We obviously cannot control weather. We can't control humidity. We can't control rain. And especially, I'm such an advocate for first looks, but a lot of times with these first looks, they're in very adventurous locations or right on, Navy Pier where it's 80-mile-an-hour winds and your beautiful down style is stuck in a tornado of wind. we can't promise that your style is going to stay given to outside elements. So when you do hire an artist or a hairstylist to come with you to those photo shoots or to do a touch-up, our favorite is the touch-up pre-ceremony or post-ceremony, then you know that when you're walking down the aisle, you are looking on point, everything's where it's supposed to be, your lipstick isn't all over your face. And it just gives you that insurance that your photos are going to be wonderful. You're going to look perfect at your ceremony. You're going to look great throughout your reception.
If a couple wanted to hire a makeup artist and a hairstylist, but they might not have budgeted enough in their initial budget, what are some ways they can still get a makeup artist and a hairstylist for their wedding day, but be within their budget?
So there's definitely a couple options for that. Even just through Deco Adamo, we have a long list of services on our menu. So there are things like opting for traditional instead of airbrush, opting for no lashes instead of including lashes. So there are ways to cut corners and get a more appropriate price that will work within your budget. Another thing is that I feel that I just want to bring up is a lot of brides don't know the etiquette of if they pay for their bridesmaid services or not. This is something that I always explain to my brides, that it really depends on if you're making it mandatory or optional. If it's optional, this is something that their bridesmaids usually will pay for on their own if they wish to have hair and makeup done. If it's mandatory, I usually say, I'll pay for all hair or I'll pay for all makeup, and then the other service is optional. I do feel a lot of brides look at it as they have to pay for everybody, and they really don't. It's not in traditional etiquette to do so unless, like I said, it's mandatory. Another option would be to have someone come in for your personal services and your maybe mother and mother-in-law, keep it small if you can't afford to pay for everyone. Leaving that line optional for the rest of the people, or having the bridal party go to a makeup bar or a blowout bar. Shout out to my girls at Gold Plated. They're amazing there. And I know that because they're coming into the salon, it does alleviate a little bit of that on-site luxury price that we have included in our services.
Yeah.
Another great way is get married in the winter, get married on a Friday, get married on a Sunday. So we do offer special minimums and discounts for those off-season weddings and off-prime date weddings.
Wow, that was a wealth of information. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Kayla, thank you unbelievably for sitting down with us today and educating us on everything. Yeah. Absolute joy sitting down with you.
So much fun with you, Jason.
If someone were so inclined to reach out to you, to pick your brain, to ask you questions, to book with you, what's the best way they can get a hold of you?
Email. I always say, this is my millennial side coming out. I love receiving emails because it's not just me who is answering them. It's a wealth of people on our team. You can also check us out on our website, which is www.decoadamo.com. Our Instagram handle is @deco_Adamo. And we're also on Facebook. Just look up Deco Adamo. We're on The Knot, on Wedding Wire. We're all over the place.
You're blowing it up.
Just Google us. We'll be there. We're the only ones with the name.
Thank you again so much, and I hope your season is going amazing.
Same to you.
We hope this episode of Vendors helps you on your wedding planning. Be sure to like, follow, subscribe, and to share to make sure you and your fellow planning couples don't miss a single episode. If you enjoyed watching this video, be sure to check out our entire conversation in the podcast. Be sure to check out all of our episodes about these amazing wedding industry professionals. We'll see you next time on Vendors. Vendors is produced and edited by Night Owls Media. More information can be found at nightowlsmedia.com.